all your favorite wrestling shows rolled into one. Welcome to the We Book It podcast. Let's start the show.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Welcome in, everybody, to another episode of the We Book It podcast. This is your Tuesday night delight. That's right. It is Virgil here with you for another episode of Who's Next with NXT. But this isn't just any episode, baby. No. If this was just any regular episode, we'd start the show. But this is the Who's Next with NXT Homecoming Edition episode. That's right. The show tonight, NXT Homecoming, was off the charts, man. This was by far my favorite show of the month so far on any brand, any wrestling brand. That's AEW, that's TNA, that's AAA, that's WWE, that's anywhere. This show right here has been my favorite. There was an energy in Full Sail University that I have not felt since the days of Bayley, since the days of Adam Cole, since the days of Tommaso Ciampa, since the days of Finn Balor, since the days of, damn it, of Big E Langston being in NXT. Listen, there is something special about that brand. That brand is grassroots. That brand started off as a TV show, as a competition on Tuesdays that replaced an hour of ECW, and then Triple H was handed it and made it into a development brand, and then it took off from there. You have names like Bobby Roode, you have names like Damien Priest, you have names that have graced their show like James Storm, Cowboy James Storm. You have so many other talents that have come through there. Ricochet, all different types of names and all different types of people that have come through and graced the walls of NXT. And NXT literally turned from a grassroots little small development into the brand that you see today. And for the very first time in 7 years, NXT was back in Full Sail University. And listen, let me tell you something. The show started off with none other than Paul Triple H Levesque coming out and giving a speech saying, "You are why NXT is stronger than ever." Listen, the black and gold all the way to the rainbow into the black and silver. Triple H gave a speech about how it all started at Full Sail University. He gave the fans credit for making NXT as special as it has been. When out comes none other than the current COO of NXT, I guess what you'll call him, or top content creator for NXT, Shawn Michaels, came out, joined him in the ring. And then, like I said, Shawn Michaels talked about the great moments and with NXT that Triple H started with, but also how since he's been here, they created even greater moments. And then Triple H says, "Well, what if I want to come back?" And then, of course, Shawn Michaels tells him, "Well, then we'd have a very, very big problem." And these two stare each other down in the ring before none other than William Regal's music hit. And you can't have an NXT reunion without William Regal. William Regal's music hits. He was synonymous with one thing when he was the NXT GM: War Games. That's right. War Games. NXT, like I said, started War Games. Triple H brought War Games to NXT first with the blessing and permission of Dusty Rhodes, the creator of War Games, which he now has brought to the main roster. I could see a world, a reality where we do maybe NXT versus TNA at War Games. And I'll get into that more later on in the show after we do a little bit more talking. But there's a great possibility here where you could end up seeing NXT and TNA in a War Games match. And I would not hate that at all. Triple H, William Regal was then joined on the stage by the women's tag team champions, Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss, who came out prepared for their match, but also to comment on how women's wrestling has always been the backbone of NXT. That's right. As great as NXT was, as great as the guys was, the women's revolution actually did start in NXT. Paige, Charlotte Flair, Alexa Bliss, Ember Moon, Shayna Baszler. I mean, the names go on and on and on. Bailey, Sasha Banks, just so many different NXT women superstars that you see main eventing shows now all across the world. Literally started right there in NXT. You have NXT to thank for that. So listen, again, NXT is the place to be. So the show kicked off. First match with Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss versus Izzy Dame and Tatum Paxley. So like I said, they stayed in the ring after all the other talent left. When we returned from the break, Dame and Paxley made their entrance with Nico Vance and Shawn Spears in tow. Paxley and Bliss took both their dolls in their hands as they started the match, but the ref made them set them aside before locking up. They had a brief exchange before Flair and Dame tagged in. The champion sent the challengers out of the ring with a double team combo as the show cut to break. We returned to see the culling momentarily in control. You could see the clear difference in how each team worked due to their levels of experience. Bliss and Flair were much more smoother in their offense, which made Paxley and Dame's inexperience more obvious. Again, altogether, this was a pretty good match. Obviously, Flair and Bliss get the win. Again, like I said, it's no surprise there. I did expect Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss to successfully retain their tag team championships. We also got a cameo from my girl. Another freaking Monday, another freaking stew. That's right. Shayna Baszler made an appearance backstage. It was cool. Next up, we got DIY versus Trick Williams and Carmelo Hayes. That's right. This match was one of the best matches on the card tonight. Obviously, Trick Williams started the show, came out first. Sorry, the match came out first. Then after him, Melo came out. And then after them, the Blackheart brought back his old music. That's right. Literally the heart and soul of NXT was always Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano. And Tommaso Ciampa brought back his Blackheart music. And obviously, Rebel Heart played next for Johnny Gargano as he came out. And again, this was a pretty good match. About 11 minutes altogether, round to round. Both teams got a lot of offense in, a lot of double team offense. That at the end, they teased Trick Williams turning on Carmelo Hayes because of their past and hitting him in the face with the chair. However, that did not end up happening. Instead, not hit him in the face with the chair. He didn't hit him in the face with a kick. However, that didn't happen. Instead, he kicked Johnny Gargano in the face, saving Melo. And then Trick was about to get hit with a with the special tag team from Ciampa and Gargano, but instead instead Melo pushed him out the way. Miz came out through the crowd, hit a skull crushing finale, and then inside the ring, Melo hit his move off the top rope and stealing the win. So this actually will probably lead to maybe Miz and Ciampa and Gargano getting into it with Melo and Miz on SmackDown, which I'm not mad about the feud kind of carrying over and them using Miz too, even though he's not nothing to do with NXT. But Melo and Williams defeated DIY. This would not be the last time we see Trick Williams in the night, though. Next up, we had Ethan Page versus Tyler Breeze for the North American Championship. So Breeze returned to NXT to wrestle for the first time in 4 years to challenge Ethan Page for the North American title. The selfie aficionado came out with his old gear and his classic entrance theme. I love it. Oh my God, it's Tyler. And he walks out with the selfie stick, and you actually can see on the screen the selfie stick. That was always cool. Breeze put up a good fight in this match, but Page ended up hitting the twisted grin while his opponent was hanging from the top rope to get the win. Sami Zayn made an appearance backstage. Josh Briggs got in his face, but Javon Evans went after Briggs. Like I said, it was great Also, Dr. Wagner Jr. was shown in the crowd taunting Adam Page. So, like I said, that's just something to keep in the back of your minds because we'll be watching out for that also. I sincerely hope that is not the last time we see Tyler Breeze in NXT. Next up, we had the Grayson Waller effect. Grayson Waller was in the ring when we returned from commercial break and a special edition of the show, and he talks trash about Femi and Ricky Saints, calling Femi overrated and Ricky Saints sorry. Waller, like I said, kept his routine of just dissing on people the whole time. Saints said Femi has been pampered since being recruited right out of college and is nothing without that NXT championship. And then next thing you know, let's talk about it. Mr. TNA himself, Tricky Williams, came out and said that the title still belongs to him. While he suggested a title versus title between them two for next week, with the winner defending the championship against Saints at No Mercy. Listen, let me tell you something. This, I think, sets up a run-in from TNA. I do believe that TNA is going to end up showing up next week on NXT and invading NXT. I think that you've seen way too much about TNA superstars crying and mentioning the fact that the TNA championship isn't a part of an actual TNA superstar. And so literally it's one of those things where you're looking like, okay, something's got to give here. So that's why I said earlier on that I could very well see NXT versus TNA in a War Games match. And honestly, there would be no better place to do that than that Petco Park out in San Diego when NXT goes there when WWE goes there for Survivor Series. If you can push it out and wait that long. That's November. We're in the middle of September. So you got to push it out basically 6 to 7 weeks in order for that to happen. If not, you can obviously do a War Games match under the NXT pay-per-view brand, and it would sell just as good. And like I said, either way, but yet and still, great match there. And then if we follow up with Fatal Influence versus Rhea Ripley, Roxanne Perez, and Lyra Valkyria. So, Lexis King came out and he gave a promo about how overrated the black and gold era of NXT was. He also insulted Miles Bourne a bit before none other than Finn Balor made a surprise appearance. Bourne attacked the King from behind, and Balor joined in with a coup de grace. And then, like I said, the main event was set. It was the 6-woman tag team match between JC Jane, Fallon Henley, and Jasmine Nix taking on Ripley, Vaquer, and Valkyria. Yeah, I don't know why that said Roxanne Perez. My bad, y'all. No, that is Rhea Ripley, Stephanie Vaquer, and Lyra Valkyria. So Fatal Influence attacked their opponents as they were making their entrance to get an early advantage. Once they have Vaquer alone, they triple teamed her and almost won moments after the bell rang. This match had a lot of energy and some entertaining double and triple team moments, but with little help from Lola Vice, Rhea Ripley was able to get the win for her team with the Rip Tide. And of course, so listen, that was the end. And then we have the final word. It was just a vintage episode of NXT for the black and gold brand, for the rainbow brand, and for the silver and gold, the silver and white brand. Listen, let me tell you something. NXT has meant so much to wrestling, and this was a great way to pay tribute to NXT. Listen, I need you to give your thoughts. What did you think of this show? What did you think of the ending? What did you think of that big winner take all match set up for next week's NXT? Will you be tuning in? I know I will. Until next time, guys, keep those book and pencils sharp and